Oh, the glorious history of being an American, able to voice the sentiments of your people, having our voices heard clearly, to register our claims to freedom and demand our rights as citizens. Freedom's Journal was the first Black-owned and operated newspaper published in the United States. It was founded by Reverend John Wilk, Peter Williams Jr., and other leading free Blacks in New York City, including orator and abolitionist William Hamilton. The first publication was on March 16, 1827. Freedom's Journal sold for $3 a year and was distributed each Friday from Varick Street in New York City. At this time, journals became an important aspect of the Black protest tradition, arguing for socio-political uplift within the community. The founders tried to appeal to free Blacks across the country who were desperately attempting to elevate their literacy rate and found some success. The newspaper founders selected Samuel Cornish and John Brown Russwurm as senior and junior editors, respectively. Both men were community activists. Cornish was the first to establish an African American Presbyterian church, and Russwurm was a member of the Haitian Immigration Society. This group recruited and organized free Blacks to immigrate to Haiti after its slaves achieved independence in 1804. The men founded the Rights of All newspaper in 1829, replacing Freedom's Journal. Under Russwurm's sole editorship, they reversed its opposition to the American Colonization Society to become a pro-colonialist under Russwurm, who moved to Liberia in late 1829. In The Rights of All, Cornish re-emphasized his opposition to the American Colonization Society that had been a signature theme of the early Freedom's Journal. Philip Alexander Bell was an abolitionist born in New York City, who in 1837 founded the Weekly Advocate newspaper. That year, the newspaper, with co-owner Samuel Cornish and Charles Bennett Ray, a prominent Black minister and abolitionist, renamed the paper the Colored American. It was edited by Cornish and published until 1842. The focus was opposition to slavery, support for Black citizenship, and Black suffrage in the United States. The North Star was Frederick Douglass's first newspaper, published in 1847 in Rochester, New York. It ran until 1851. Douglass chose the North Star because of its abolitionist purpose. The name was a reference to the directions given to runaway slaves trying to reach the northern states and Canada. Follow the North Star. Figuratively, Canada was the North Star. The North Star's slogan was, "Right is of no sex, truth is of no color, God is the Father of us all, and all we are brethren." The North Star merged with Gerrit Smith's Liberty Party paper, which was based in Syracuse, New York. It later became the Frederick Douglass's papers. At the time of the Civil War, it became Douglass's Monthly. The Christian Recorder began publishing in 1852 as a weekly paper called The Mystery, and later the Christian Herald. It was started by Reverend Augustus R. Green in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was the official newspaper of the African Methodist Episcopal Church and is the oldest continuously published Black newspaper in the United States. The Recorder covered secular as well as religious news, reporting news of Black regiments serving in the Civil War. It advocated support for Union troops. It had an information wanted section where Black families separated in the slave trade could seek news about their missing loved ones. The name was changed to the Christian Recorder in 1852. The Mirror of the Times was published in San Francisco, California in 1855. It was the first Black newspaper in the state and possibly on the West Coast, and advocated against racial segregation and for Black civic engagement. It was founded by Jonas H. Townsend and Mifflin Gibbs. The paper's motto was, "Truth crushed to the earth will rise again." The Pacific Appeal, based in San Francisco, California, was published from 1862 to 1880. It was co-founded by Philip Alexander Bell, who had established the Weekly Advocate. It was the successor to the Mirror of the Times and regarded as the official Black American paper on the Pacific Slope. The paper's motto was, "He who would be free himself must strike the blow." A disagreement between Bell and his editor ended his affiliation, and he went on to found The Elevator. The Elevator was published from 1869 to 1874 to express the perspective of the Black community. A major focus of the articles were the 4th of July celebrations that were not segregated like other events in respect for Independence Day. It had a slogan, "Equality before the law." Bell wrote about open hostility against immigrants in the paper. The People's Advocate was founded in 1876 by Travers B. Penn Sr., who hired John Cromwell as its editor. The People's Advocate was a weekly published in Alexandria, Virginia, until they moved to Washington, D.C. in 1878. Its motto was, "Principles, not men, but men as the representative of principles." In 1885, Daniel Rudd began his first newspaper, the Ohio Tribune. Later that year, he expanded its mission and changed the name to the American Catholic Tribune, the first national Catholic newspaper owned and operated by a Black man. America has a long and continuous history of Black newspapers published in every large and medium-sized city. However, as with print newspapers nationwide and the advent of other media networks, we may be seeing their final days.